Welcome to the deep dive. So, if you're working in digital advertising today, well, you know it's moved way beyond just buying a simple banner ad somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. It's a completely different landscape now. Super complex. You've got algorithms, auctions, all these acronyms flying around.
Exactly. It's this world where, you can buy ad space literally one impression at a time.
Hmm.
Or you can just hand your whole budget strategy over to a machine learning system.
It's quite the range.
So, our mission today is really to cut through some of that noise. We want to give you a clearer map of the strategies out there for actually buying digital media.
Yeah, let's unpack the mechanics of these media buying methods.
Right. What are the ways advertisers actually secure that ad space? We'll look at the whole spectrum, from that sort of high-touch manual negotiation to the super automated, maybe future-facing campaigns.
Fundamentally, these methods are just the agreements, the structures brands use to buy inventory from publishers. That's the core.
But what's really interesting, I think, is how the method you pick says so much about your campaign goals, right? Your budget, how much risk you're okay with.
hmm And underpinning so much of this now is the technology enabling automation. We're talking programmatic advertising mostly.
Right, programmatic, not just a buzzword.
No, not at all. It's really the engine driving a huge chunk of the digital ad world now, connecting that demand side with the supply side, often instantly. And for advertisers, the method they choose dictates how much human effort is involved versus, how much you let the software handle.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Maybe we can start with the two big pillars of digital buying. You've got the, let's say, the handshake deal approach, and then the one where you're basically in a global, super fast auction.
A good way to frame it. So first up, direct buying. This is the classic media negotiation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the traditional way.
Yeah.
You, the advertiser, are talking directly to a specific publisher. Could be a big streaming service, a major news site, maybe a niche blog in your vertical.
And you're negotiating to buy specific ad inventory directly from them.
Exactly. The key thing here is it's high effort, but also high control. It needs manual work, long lead time sometimes, dedicated people on both sides making it happen.
So why would anyone still do this with all the automation available?
Well, because direct buying is still crucial for premium publishers and those really bespoke campaigns. You're not just getting a standard banner. You might be locking down guaranteed high visibility spots, custom ad formats, maybe exclusive sponsorships.
Ah, okay. So things you can't just get through an automated system.
Pretty much. It's often the only way to guarantee the specific placement, the context, the customization you need for really big brand awareness plays.
So you're paying a premium price, but you get a guaranteed outcome in a known, safe environment, like reserving that specific luxury box at the stadium.
That's a great analogy. You trade potentially lower prices for certainty and control.
Okay, now let's flip that completely. If direct buying is the luxury suite, the automated alternative feels more like the floor of the stock exchange, maybe. Let's talk real-time bidding, or RTB.
Yeah, RTB. This is the engine of programmatic buying, really. And it's what allows for that incredible scale we see. Instead of negotiating months ahead for a block of ads,
You're using software.
right, advertisers use software called a demand-side platform, a DSP, and that connects them to ad networks or exchanges where publishers make their inventory available.
And the key difference is,
The really interesting part is you're not buying inventory in bulk beforehand. You're jumping into an automated auction for individual impressions.
individual.
Wow.
So every time a user like you or me visits a website.
Exactly. An auction happens
Yeah.
in milliseconds. It decides which ad that specific user sees at that specific moment. The DSP, armed with the advertiser's budget and who they want to reach, puts in an automated bid.
Okay, that sounds incredibly fast. Efficient, maybe, but also a bit chaotic. What's the strategic upside?
The big advantages are reach and potential price competition. RTB plugs you into a massive ocean of supply sources. So an advertiser can get huge exposure, broad reach, potentially at very competitive prices because, well, the less valuable impressions might go for less money.
But there's a catch, I assume.
There is. That's the risk. It could be a bit of the Wild West
Yeah.
because you have much less direct control over exactly where your ad shows up. So you can run into issues with ad quality, or maybe viewability was the ad actually seen.
So you need other tech to manage that risk.
Definitely. You rely on things like the publisher supply-side platform, the SSP, and maybe a third-party ad server to verify delivery, track performance, optimize metrics like view-through rate, VTR, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So direct buying. Slow, guaranteed, probably pricey. RTB fast, potentially cheap, but needs tech guardrails. What if you want the speed of RTB, but maybe not all the chaos of that wide-open exchange?
That's a really
Great
important
point. Because lots of advertisers do want the automation of programmatic, but they worry about brand safety or quality control in the open auction.
So there are middle grounds.
Absolutely. This is where the more nuanced strategies come in. They offer different levels of exclusivity or control within that programmatic framework.
All right, let's map those out. Starting with something that sounds a bit more exclusive, the private marketplace, or PMP.
Right. A PMP still uses programmatic tech, often RTB, but it's invite only.
Invite only, like a VIP room for ads.
Kind of, yeah. Publishers invite specific advertisers they trust to bid on a particular slice of their inventory, usually the more premium stuff.
Okay, why would a publisher limit who can bid? Wouldn't they want more competition, higher prices?
Often it's about protecting their own brand and ensuring quality control. They want to maintain a certain standard for the ads on their site, make sure they're relevant and safe for their audience. By inviting known bidders, they achieve that.
And for the advertiser?
For the advertiser, they might pay a bit more than in the open RTB market, but they get privileged access to premium inventory. Think high-impact video, custom units, things like that. And they get it without the heavy lifting of a full direct deal. It's a compromise.
Control meets automation. Okay, now, what if we want to move away from auctions altogether, but keep the automation for predictability?
Then you're probably looking at programmatic direct. This essentially automates the old direct buy process.
So no auction.
No auction. Instead of all that back and forth manual negotiation, the advertiser and publisher agree on the terms beforehand, what inventory, what price, and then the technology handles the transaction programmatically at that fixed price.
Okay, so the tech just executes the pre-agreed deal. How's a price usually set?
Typically, it's based on a fixed cost per mil, CPM, the cost for every 1,000 impressions.
And the benefit there is?
Budget predictability. It's huge for large-scale branding campaigns, where you need to lock in a big volume of impressions at a rate you can count on. If your main goal is just getting exposure across known, trusted sites, Programmatic Direct takes the price volatility of the auction out of the equation. Great for planning.
Makes sense. You know exactly what you're getting and exactly what it'll cost. Okay, so we've got guaranteed buys, open auctions, fixed price automation. Is there something that mixes guaranteed access with maybe the option to try the auction?
Yes.
There is. And that brings us to a really interesting one. The preferred deal. Preferred deal. How does that work?
It's quite unique. The publisher essentially gives certain advertisers the first look or the first right of refusal on some inventory. They set a fixed price, let's say a $10 CPM.
Okay.
And they offer that deal exclusively to a few preferred buyers before that inventory ever hits the open RTB auction.
So the advertiser gets a choice point. Exactly. They have a moment to decide. Do I lock this in at the guaranteed $10 CPM right now, secure the spot, or do I take a chance, let it go to the open auction where, hey, maybe I could bid and win it for $8, but you also risk losing it completely, right? Someone else might bid $12.
That's the gamble. It guarantees you the chance to buy at the fixed price, but it doesn't force you to. It gives advertisers flexibility. It lets them test the waters on pricing while still having a safety net to grab crucial inventory if they really need it.
So it's a smart way to manage risk, especially if the inventory is scarce or really valuable.
Definitely. A very useful tool in the programmatic toolkit.
Okay, we've journeyed from the human handshake of direct buying through these different flavors of automated deals. But the tech keeps evolving, pushing towards even more automation, right? Where the machine does almost everything.
That's right. We're now moving towards the highest level of automation currently available, where it's not just about running the auction. It's about machine learning, managing the entire campaign strategy.
And that brings us to?
That brings us squarely into the territory of Performance Max, or PMax campaigns. This is a system that really tries to look beyond just bidding on one channel and optimize the whole customer journey.
Okay, tell us more about PMax. Why is everyone in the industry talking about it so much?
Well, PMax is essentially Google's fully automated media buying approach. Instead of you setting up separate campaigns for search and display in YouTube and Gmail.
Which takes a lot of management.
Exactly. Instead, you basically feed the PMax system all your ingredients, your creative assets like images and videos, your ad copy, your targeting signals, your conversion goals.
And then
the machine learning model takes over. It dynamically mixes and matches those assets, creates ads, and decides where to place them across Google's entire network. Search, YouTube, Display, Discover, Gmail, Maps, wherever it thinks it can best achieve your goal.
So the system decides the channel, the bid, the timing, the audience, everything. to maximize conversions or value or whatever you told it to aim for.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It takes the guesswork out of allocating budget between platforms. The machine is basically saying, trust me, I'll put the money where it works best based on the real-time data.
Wow. But that sounds like a huge letting go of control for advertisers who, like to meticulously manage their YouTube bids separately from their search bids.
That is the absolute core trade-off. The big benefit is simplifying campaign management and trying to maximize performance across the board. It treats it all as one unified strategy, letting the algorithm find pockets of opportunity you might miss manually.
But the flip side,
The flip side, as you said, is transparency, or lack thereof, some might argue, because the machine is running things inside a bit of a black box, optimizing based on countless signals we don't fully see.
right?
Advertisers definitely sacrifice that granular control. You don't always know exactly which placement on which platform drove which specific conversion. You have to have a degree of faith that the algorithm's aggregate result is better than what you could achieve by manually tweaking everything.
That's a significant shift in philosophy for media buying, isn't it? Trusting the machine's overall outcome over granular channel-by-channel optimization.
It really is. And this leap brings us back to something we touched on earlier, the critical need for independent validation and intelligence, regardless of which method you choose.
Ah, right. Because whether you're doing a direct buy using RTB or letting PMax run wild, you still need to know if it's actually working effectively.
Precisely. You can't just rely on the reporting from the platform you're buying on. You need external, independent insight to truly understand performance.
So what does that intelligence layer look like practically? We have all these complex ways to buy ads. How do you figure out if choosing that preferred deal over a PMP was actually the right call?
You absolutely need independent benchmarking. Our source material points this out clearly. Companies need strategic info. That starts with ad benchmarking. Meaning comparing your own performance, your creatives, your spend levels, the ad formats you're using against what your competitors are doing. Across different brands, different channels, you can't know if that $12 CPM programmatic direct deal was good value unless you have some idea what others paid for similar inventory recently.
Okay, makes sense. Context is everything. And what about channel intelligence? Why track specific social or connected TV activity?
Well, because huge channels like CTV or the big social media platforms often operate a bit differently, maybe outside the standard open RTB exchange.
Yeah.
And they're high-impact, often high-cost environments.
Right.
So channel intelligence means digging into the ad activity there, understanding what creatives your competitors are running on Facebook or TikTok, what their budgets look like, tracking who's spending what programmatically on CTV, and which platforms they're using.
So it tells you not just where the money's going, but maybe why competitors are choosing certain methods or channels.
Exactly. It gives you that competitive context.
Yeah.
And ultimately, all this intelligence gathering, all this benchmarking, it's all driving towards one main goal.
Yeah.
Verifying actual performance, knowing what's really moving the needle.
Yeah. From how you allocated the budget initially to the creative you used, the specific placement it got, and whether it led to a conversion or sale. Without that independent measurement, the complexity of all these buying methods we've discussed, it just becomes noise. It could even be a liability. Okay, that really helps tie it all together. So let's try and summarize this. For you, the listener, what are the key takeaways here?
Well, we've really charted the evolution, haven't we?
Yeah. We started with that high control, high cost guarantee you get with direct buying. Very manual. Then we jumped to the other extreme. The super fast, scalable, but sometimes volatile world of the open exchange with real-time bidding, RTB, built on speed. Right. And then filling that strategic middle ground, we looked at those nuanced programmatic options designed for balancing risks and budget. The invite-only auction of the private marketplace, PMP.
The fixed price certainty of programmatic direct.
And that calculated choice you get with a preferred deal.
And finally, we look at the cutting edge, the fully automated, machine learning-driven approach of Performance Max, PMax campaigns. It tries to unify everything, but asks for a big leap of faith in the algorithm.
So when you step back, understanding these methods really shows that modern media buying is this constant balancing act, doesn't it?
It really is. You're always juggling the need for guaranteed premium placement against competitive pricing. You're balancing the desire for quality and exclusivity against the need for scale, and trying to keep budgets predictable the whole time.
Which leads to a really interesting final thought, maybe.
I think so. It raises a big question about the near future, especially with the rise of systems like PMax. Given how effective and powerful machine learning is becoming, how much longer will that really detailed, time-consuming human negotiation needed for traditional direct buying stay essential, even for the most premium placement.
Hmm. Will premium publishers eventually automate even those direct sales, or is there something irreplaceable about that human relationship, that ability to craft truly unique, bespoke ad deals that will ensure direct buying sticks around?
Exactly. It's a real challenge to the old way of doing things, and something every advertiser, every publisher really needs to be thinking about as they plan their next strategic moves in this space.